School of Finance. I was a really good student.
I went to an Ivy League college. I was a nice student. I did very well. I'm a very intelligent person.
Everybody knows what a great school it is. Look, if I were a liberal Democrat, people would say I'm the super genius of all time.
Desi Lydic walked onto the stage holding a yearbook like it had been waiting 20 years for its moment. Behind her, the screen showed one word Donald Trump has repeated more than almost any other credential in his public life: Wharton. Not a scandal, not an accusation, just a school name. But in Trump's hands, that name had become more than education. It had become a shield, a trophy, and sometimes a shortcut around every question about judgment. The clips began rolling. Trump saying he went to a great school. Trump saying Wharton proved he understood business. Trump bringing up the name when critics questioned his intelligence. At first, the audience laughed because everyone recognized the pattern. Then Desi let the clips continue until the repetition itself became suspicious. She turned to the camera and said, "When a man says Wharton this often, you start wondering whether he majored in finance or repetition."
That's the way you learned at the Wharton School of Finance. I mean, that would be the ultimate thing. Now, whether or not that works, but I did suggest that I'm highly educated. I went to the Wharton School of Finance. I went to the Wharton School of Finance. I went to the Wharton School of Finance.
I went to the Wharton School of Finance. I was a very fine student.
And I went to a great school, business school, the Wharton School of Finance, a great school.
The studio erupted. Then she made the facts clear. Trump did attend the University of Pennsylvania and graduated from the undergraduate Wharton program. That part was real. Desi was not challenging the diploma, she was challenging the castle Trump had built on top of it. Because Trump never used Wharton like a normal line on a resume. He used it like a final answer. If someone questioned his decisions, Wharton. If someone questioned his intelligence, Wharton. If someone asked for proof behind the genius story, Wharton again. Desi placed two cards on the desk. One said, "The brag." The other said, "The backup." She read the first card. Very smart, great school, highly educated, tremendous brain, top businessman, brilliant dealmaker. Then she tapped the second card and said, "This one appears to be running late." The audience laughed, but the room leaned closer. Desi reminded viewers that Trump once questioned Barack Obama's academic background and pushed the idea that Obama should release records. Then she brought up Michael Cohen's sworn testimony.
So you have a humiliation kick, but you really think you'd lose a fight to an 80-year-old man? I mean, come on, Republicans, believe in yourself. Where's that storming the Capitol confidence? To be fair, this is an incredibly weird phone call to receive. Yeah, Dave, it's the polling company. You think you could take President Trump, you f***ing pussy?
Where Cohen said Trump directed him to warn schools and the College Board not to release Trump's own grades or test scores. Desi paused. So Obama's school records were public interest, she said. But Trump's records were treated like the Wi-Fi password at a secret bunker. The room exploded. That was where the joke became sharper. If grades matter when discussing Obama, why do they suddenly become private when discussing Trump? If Wharton proves the genius brand, why not let the full record support it? Desi did not need to answer. The contradiction did the work. Then she brought up William T. Kelly, the longtime Wharton marketing professor whose reported view of Trump as a student has followed the former president for years. According to people who knew Kelly, he allegedly remembered Trump in extremely harsh terms, far from the brilliant student image Trump spent decades selling. Desi handled it carefully. "That is not an official grade," she said. "That is not a transcript. That is one reported professor's opinion. But when your entire brand is balanced on one school name, even one old professor can sound like a fire alarm." The applause came loud. For older viewers, the point felt familiar. They had known men with big confidence and small patience. They had worked for bosses who talked like experts and listened like furniture. They had seen politicians turn correction into insult and questions into enemies. Desi looked into the camera. "A diploma can prove you entered a classroom," she said. "It cannot prove the classroom entered you." That line settled heavily. Then she showed the pattern. Trump brags. Someone asks for proof. The record stays hidden. The questioner gets attacked. Desi said the Wharton name worked because most people hear an elite school and fill in the rest themselves. They imagine honors, high grades, impressed professors, and a young genius already destined for greatness. But imagination is not evidence. Desi smiled and said, "If you sell a legend long enough, eventually someone asks why the receipt is written in invisible ink." The audience roared. By the end, Desi placed a blank page under the lights. She said it represented the public evidence proving every grand academic claim exactly as Trump had sold it. No top ranking, no honors list, no booming proof, just empty white space. Desi looked down and said, "For once, a Trump document is not interrupting anybody." The audience stood. The damage was not that Trump went to Wharton. He did. The damage was that he asked one real credential to carry an entire mythology. Trump wanted Wharton to be the end of the question. Desi made it the beginning of the investigation. It was not loud. It did not need to be. The silence on that page made the bragging feel louder and thinner than ever before.